Welcome to Cool Cars for Kids Car Reviews. My name is Jake and I'll be your personal car reviewer. Before we get started, I just want to let you know what Cool Cars for Kids is. We are an organization aimed to help and fund research for children with rare genetic disorders. And you can find out more by going to coolcarsforkids.org, and there is a donation tab on there if you care to do so. Today, we have a Dodge Charger RT 2023 with a Daytona package. What does this mean? It means that this Dodge Charger comes with a 5.7 liter Hemi V8, and it is not scared to share that it is a Hemi. Front and center, we have a Hemi striping right down the middle. Let me go ahead and get this cracked open for you so you can see that beautiful 5.7 liter Hemi V8 pushing out 370 horsepower. Under the hood, we got a 5.7 liter Hemi V8. Again, very, very proud of its Hemi heritage, and it really wants to let you know that it is a V8. We have a big intake right here to feed that huge 370 horsepower because this car uses all of it. Just driving this car, the feeling it's definitely a different feeling from something like a Hellcat, because the Hellcat has that supercharger, so you get that boost up in the higher rev ranges. This is naturally aspirated, meaning that there is no forced air induction, which means that it's just straight power all the way through. And yes, the design of this car is mean and angry. Let me close that hood so you can get a good feel. There it is. So you can get a good feel for what this car looks like at a lower angle. And it looks like it wants to run over me because it has that angry blackout dark blue color to it. And it is a great car. But how do you know if it's a Daytona versus just a regular RT? Well, on the back, we have nice Daytona decal striped across the hood, a little spoiler right here, and it also says it on the other side. We have a good amount of storage in here. Let me open that up quickly so I can find out how to do it. I'll do it. But it is a good amount of storage. Our gas tank and cap, or no cap rather, because it is capless, which I like, but make sure that when you put your gas nozzle in, you feel 2 clicks so that gas doesn't splash out all over. This car does not take E85, which is a little bit of a surprise considering it is a Dodge V8, but you know, who cares, because it still makes 370 horsepower. All that power goes straight to the rear wheel, so there's no need for an all-wheel drive on this car, partly because Dodge doesn't offer it, but also because you're not going to need that all-wheel drive, okay? The tires are Eagle RSA2s, 255 section all around, and it is more than enough. Unless you go flat out in a turn, then yeah, you could do a couple drifts, or you put on the brake and then you go flat out, then you do a couple burnouts, but it's all right. Miles per gallon, this car can get 25 miles per gallon on the highway, which for a V8, especially from an American company, is a lot. In the city, it's not quite 25 miles an hour, but it is not great, and is going to cost you extra money because of that gas guzzler tax. These wheels are just really nice. They match the color of this car really well. Those dark 5-spoke wheels with that double spoke design, and this car will be slowed down by huge Brembo brakes, and it will need it because it is a very, very heavy car, coming in just over that 4,500 pound to 5,000 pound mark, depending on what you get. Let's move on to the interior of this Dodge Charger Daytona. Let's hear that famous Dodge V8. Here it is. That is a nice sound coming from that exhaust. And that is a very, very classy, deep throaty rumble of that Dodge V8. I don't know if there is a more iconic engine sound. Maybe you can say a Lamborghini V12, but for a V8, this might be that icon of a sound. Let's head to the inside and look at the interior of this Dodge Charger V8. We are now inside the Daytona. And just at a first glance, it does look much like other Dodge Chargers because that is what Dodge does. They are a company that loves their engines, and they put a lot of money and design and design efforts into their engines to maximize its ability. But their interiors are usually just the same. But I'm not complaining, because right now I am sat in a Daytona badged bucket seat with Alcantara. It's an Alcantara wrapped Napa leather interior. And these seats are really, really comfy. And there's also more Daytona badging right here, so that you know what you are in and you know that it is special. Turning on the Daytona with the door open, just so I can show you some of that infotainment system. Where is it? There it is. You can hear that rev, that craving for life and power that this car has, and there is no other feeling like it. Door closed, it is a quiet experience. There is not a lot of road and tire noise. There is a lot of engine noise and exhaust sound, but that doesn't matter because of how nice it sounds. We have a nice paddle manual system, so if I put it into drive like this and click it over to manual, I will be able to control it with paddles. I'm not going to do that today, though. Infotainment, you do have to click on, and it'll boot up shortly. Sometimes it is a little finicky. But there we go. Now, this infotainment system, and if you know Dodge, you know that they aren't best known for their infotainment systems, because let's face it, they are usually decently old and whatever. But just to give you an overview, this is what it looks like. You can swipe. And it is a little bit laggy sometimes, but you do have a lot of your controls on here. And there are redundancy controls, like your climate controls, because you do have them buttoned down here. And I love hard buttons. There's just no other feeling quite like the press of a button, especially in a Dodge. You can have your heated wheel. You can dim your mirror. Again, another feature that is a redundancy in this infotainment system. And then come back here. Here's your climate. Let's go back to apps. And yeah, just a lot of redundancies. But there is something that I find really cool about this car, and that is you can see your performance. We have to wait. Dodge is all about waiting for the power, waiting for the performance pages. So you can see how much you're making. You can see your current gear, so that it's not just about you too, because you can always see that in here. Not your power, but you can see other things. But it's for your passenger, because if you have a passenger that likes going fast and likes to know how much horsepower you are using, that is that. But it's not just about horsepower. You have your timers. Just time your 0 to 60 and your whatever. We can see that we have a driver who loves to do runs in this car. I'm not going to say drag races, because I don't know if he has ever done a drag race. We also have gauges, so tell you everything. So make sure that your engine is running at full capacity. Your G-force, your engine, more gauges, more power, more torque. I love this so much. I just can't get enough of it. This is your dyno chart. So you never need to go to a dyno to see how much you're making. All you have to do is grab a racetrack or a drag strip. Let's move on to the back of this Dodge and see how much room we have. In the back, we have our driver's seat set to about a 5'5", 5' to 5'8" driver. There is plenty of legroom for someone who is short like me. But what about in the other situation where you have someone that is tall and likes to recline? Yeah, that noise about says it all. Not much more, like a couple of inches of legroom right here, but you can push in. So if you want to relax a little bit, you can push your knees into that seat and fall asleep, because this seat is extremely comfy. And in the winter, you get 2 setting heated seats and 2 vents and 2 chargers to charge your phone and your headphones or your computer or whatever you may need. That just about wraps up the interior section and this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Again, don't forget to visit coolcarsforkids.org, and I'll see you in the next one.